Hey guys, Sam Thrash here with Fall Obsession, coming to you with another weekly installment of Tricks of the Trade. This week we're going to talk about trail cameras. They are a very valuable and sometimes necessary tool to the modern day hunter when we talk about planning and strategizing for the upcoming deer season. So we're just going to talk about a few things to keep in mind when you're finding spots to set those things up and actually set them up. So first we're going to talk about setting up on trails. It's one thing to set up your camera on a food source. Deer come to it, you set it up, you get pictures, it's pretty self-explanatory. But when you're actually trying to find a spot to put it up on a trail when there's no set food source, it's a little bit more strategy goes into figuring that out. So one thing I like to look for is if I have a set bedding area or sanctuary for these deer on my property. If I do, I like to put that camera on a trail going in or out of that sanctuary. This way I'm not disturbing the deer activity, but at the same time I'm getting pictures of not only the deer that are coming to my food source, but also some deer that I might not see otherwise. A lot of times if you're just throwing simple deer corn or stuff like that out there, you'll catch the does and the young bucks coming to your food source, but you probably are not going to see as much of the big boys until after the first freeze has come and there's less food for them to eat in the woods. So I like to set up on trails going in or out of the sanctuary, just that way we can catch those big boys as they leave and come back. If you do not have a defined bedding area or sanctuary that you know of on your property and you don't have that to work with, just make sure that you're doing your homework and you're actually taking the time to look at those trails and see where you have good deer activity in preparation for where you're going to set up your camera. Number two, the actual location of your camera. If I'm just setting it up on a trail out there in the woods, I might find good deer activity in the certain spot, but maybe I travel a little bit farther in one direction or the other just to see if there's an intersection or a little bit different activity in a different area. I like to set up cameras on intersections if I can, because you're looking at two different trails at that point and you're more than likely going to see some activity that you might not see otherwise. So intersections are always a good thing to look for. Number three, in and out. We're going to talk to you again about your personal activity as you go in there to check those cameras. I know we covered it in a previous edition, but I want to talk to you guys again because it is very important. You want to limit your activity when you're out there in the woods. You don't want to bump these deer out. I know it's exciting. You got a camera, you might have a big buck coming in. You want to get pictures and you want to see what his pattern is, but you can't run the risk of running that guy off. So be sure that you're limiting your activity as far as when you actually go out there. It's easier if you live farther away from your property, but it's hard if you live on or very close to the property you hunt. But still got to be very cautious about that. I recommend that people wait 2 to 3 weeks prior to the season in between the time that they're going out there to check their stands, setups, feeders, cameras, all that kind of stuff. So watch your activity, limit it, don't bump them out, but still, see what's going on out there, just not too aggressively. Thanks guys for tuning in to our weekly installment of Tricks of the Trade. Be sure that you check us out next week for another episode. So thanks y'all for tuning in.